Welcome, Tengagers. I'm Bishop, your host, and you're watching Tengaged Confidential, your source for news and gossip concerning Tengaged.com. Today in Shop Talk, famed designer and owner of The Closet, Gaga Love, was banned for posting a sexually explicit video of a transsexual Lady Gaga impersonator who was stripping and masturbating on camera. As a public service announcement, Tengaged is played by people young and old, and images and scenes such as these should not be displayed. They are both disgusting and illegal. In other Shop Talk news, I wanted to touch on the monopoly being held on shops in the game. For those of you who haven't noticed, several of the designers on the Shops game sell many of their designs for only 1T. It sounds great until you actually realize that being able to buy these cheap designs is nearly impossible. They are sold out almost as soon as they are posted. They are usually bought by the designers themselves, or to make matters worse, these few individuals are not just buying one design, they are practically cleaning out the stores, leaving only high-dollar items for mass population. One such hoarder is known as Phillies Fan 09, who is also the owner of the shop MyG. However, upon closer inspection, it turns out that Phillies Fan is not such a bad guy. He apparently has a sort of gift-giving thing where if you mail him with a request and state that you have no designs, he will buy the designs and then send them to you. It's not too bad. I wish everyone were so nice. Now moving away from shops and into specific designs, what the hell is up with the silhouette designs? To explain, these are avatar silhouettes filled in with some random patterns such as the New York City landscape or camo or leopard skin. They're all very easy designs to make, and sadly they're making the options more and more because the designer is spamming the hell out of everyone. Who really wants these designs? I mean, I'd much prefer nice hair or a nice t-shirt or something, but not the entire body filled in with leopard skin print. Please, designers, put some thought into your designs. You won't have to spam. The designs will sell themselves. In group news, the group of the week is Newbie Stars 5, which was created by Jubsy. As of right now, the group has over 600 members, with many competing to be a newbie star. Today, the start of the race is on as contestants are put to the polls for the general public to vote who moves on to the second round. We're going to try to follow this on a day-to-day story and keep track of potential winners. In Player Spotlight, I've decided to do Player Spotlights as a way of getting to know other players. If you're interested in being interviewed and being put in the spotlight, please send email to tengagedconfidential@yahoo.com. This week's Player Spotlight is Damarvati. Damar is a die-hard Survivor fan who recently found Tengaged through the internet search and has been happy since. When asked about his relationship between the real world and his Tengaged life, he said that being a senior in high school, as well as working at a party shop in the evenings, makes it hard for him to maintain an active gaming life. However, he tries to be online as much as possible. On the topic of friends and enemies, Damar said that he's made many friends on here that he is loyal to and hopes to play with again in the future. But in regards to enemies, he really doesn't have anyone specific. He does, however, hate people who pick on other players because of their personal beliefs, ideas, or backgrounds. When digging a little deeper, I got a little more information out of him. He says that a specific example that he saw of this was when a guy named Turd, T-E-R-D, apparently got suspended for saying some pretty horrible things to another player called Furbio. Personally, I think it's good riddance. I like competition in this game, but there's no need for harsh words or picking on people's personal lives. In the same token, people don't put your personal lives out there. This is a game, there's a lot of good people out there, but there's also a lot of bad ones. So just be careful. When he was asked about how he could make Tengaged a better place, he simply said auto evictions. Personally, I like the idea myself. People who have become overly inactive, once they've reached a certain time limit, they should be auto evicted and moved straight on to the next day. Another suggestion he made was that white belts should be able to play two casting games at the same time so that they don't get bored. I remember when I first got on here, especially since you don't know the site, you don't know how the game is played. There's a lot of boredom, as you know. If you can play two games at once, it makes things a little easier. He said his goal, like most other people, is to get first place in every type of Tengaged game that Tengaged has to offer. He plans to implement various strategies to attain his goal. However, he's a new player, so he's going to try out several different strategies as he comes along. The main thing is he tries to analyze players, see where the alliances are as early as possible. I think we all do that, but your exact technique for figuring out those alliances, that's on you. Well, anyway, Damar, good luck to you in your upcoming games, and I hope to see you again in Tengaged. Moving on to tips and tricks. This week's tip is making alliances. How do you know who to invite into your alliances? Who's going to be loyal? Who will be inactive? A strategy that I've come to look at when trying to pick out an alliance in a game. Of course, there are pre-mades out there. These people who get together and make an alliance even before the game starts. I don't necessarily agree with it. Kind of defeats the purpose. However, making an alliance early on, especially day one, is very important. One thing that I like to do, I'll go through the bios as soon as I enter the game. Look on there. If somebody's got almost all of their previous games, they're getting like 13th, 14th, 15th place in castings, it's not the person you want in your alliance. These guys are generally the ones who are inactive all the time. All the time. I don't know why they continue playing. So you see that they get 13th, 14th, 15th repeatedly, don't ask them to in your alliance. Also, don't spam people. Don't spam everybody in the group in the game saying, "Hey, do you want an alliance? Hey, do you want an alliance?" That's the fastest way to get yourself voted out. Go through there, look at specific people's bios, see who their friends are. If you see that one guy's got two friends and both of them are in the game, that's probably somebody who's making their own alliance. You might want to keep your eye out for them. I tend to pick people who rank between 4th and 7th repeatedly. These are people who are obviously active. I generally don't tend to pick black belts because they got their own thing going. Mid-level and with pretty decent records. That means they're active and you can probably work with them. You know what's going on. So making alliances, look in their bios, see who's probably inactive, see who's not successful, see who their friends are to see if they have already got an alliance going. That's about it. If you guys have any stories you'd like to share or you'd like to be interviewed, please contact us at tengagedconfidential@yahoo.com. You can also contact me on Tengaged myself. I'm Bishop, B-I-S-H-O-P. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to Tengaged Confidential, and I'll see you all next week for another amazing episode of Tengaged Confidential.